Can't none bring me down. Your love is too high to bring me down. Can't none bring me down. I said, tell you now, bring me down. Can't none bring me down.
Hi everyone. As you mentioned, I think I'll stand over here. As you mentioned, I'm Bernadette Clay. I'm the owner of BLE Executive and Virtual Office Suites. We actually offer office space to business owners who are just starting out and they're not ready for a full office at the time. So if you need just a space to meet with any of your clients, we do provide conference rooms and training rooms like this one. In addition to that, we also provide administrative support. So as your business starts to grow and you need someone to maybe give you some extra hands, we can do that as well. So if you have any questions, I'll be here for a little bit. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, she has a fabulous look up there. It's we got all types of conference rooms, training rooms. There's a couple other training rooms. Receptionists, they answer the phone for you. You know, everything. Just love it to death.
Thank you.
I just want to tell you just a little bit about RBB and what we do, okay? What we do is we work with business owners, okay, to help them build their customer base and bring them new customers. We have approximately 40,000 visitors monthly coming to our website looking for trustworthy businesses because they know that we run background checks on all businesses before they can list with us. We are very selective. We are not like any other business directory out there. One thing we do for our clients or the businesses that come on board, we give them more features than any other business directory out there, once again. So just a few of the things that we give you. You build your own listing, okay? You log in and create your own listing. We give you can do you have your summary, you have your description. You can even put your commercials up on that page. You can put sample work up on that page. There's directions on how to get to your location on that page. It's also an analytics tool to tell you how many people came to visit your page. It's so much that is to tell you about. We'll be here all night if I tell you about the whole thing. So we have some of my sales team here now that I'm going to introduce. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them questions after the meet and greet. Start with Portia Johnson, sitting at the desk. And then we got Greg. And we have Olu sitting in the back.
Hello, everyone.
All right, we got Quentin that helps out sometimes, right over here. Yeah, but if you want to know anything about us, come to me at any time, okay? And I'm without okay. Without further ado, I will introduce our first speaker. I heard this brother speak before at another work group, and he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. With that, I will give you Jahi Davis.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I had the glasses, man. I had these back.
Okay. Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. Eric and his team from my RBB invited me to speak tonight, and I wanted to talk with entrepreneurs about entrepreneurship. Okay. I'm going to cover a few points regarding operating your business, and in this short time span, I have about 15 minutes, maybe 3 hours,
Okay.
something like that.
Keep it in between.
Okay, something. All right. So between this 15-minute time frame, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the key items that you need to be aware of as you run your business. Who will be interested in learning about some key things that could help you accentuate and accelerate and make your business successful, non-profit or otherwise, doesn't matter. Okay. So let's talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is who I am. My name is Jahi. last name Davis. I've been doing entrepreneurship since the age of 11 years old. Started my first company at 12. After running my business like a madman, really not knowing what I was doing, I decided to become what they call a serial entrepreneur. How many serial entrepreneurs in the room? If you don't know what that is, it's someone who goes from company to idea to company, and you just keep starting over. I'm going to do something different. Anybody in the room other than one person? All right, let's be honest. You know who you are, right? So I started a lot of businesses in my career, but I really didn't have any strategy or structure to how to run a business until I decided to go to school. All right, so I started at 12, but by the time I was 17, 18, I said, you know, I really need to go to school. I need to learn the formalities of running a business. So I went to Temple University for undergrad, and then I went on to business school. So I have 2 degrees. I got an MBA, I got an undergrad degree. But nothing beats experience, right? And most of us in the room have experience. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was some of the experiences that we're learning as we run a company called the Wealth Collaborative. The Wealth Collaborative is a company that we started, myself, Jason Crump, Robert Waller, and Brian Taylor. We started this company last year. It's basically a company that works with entrepreneurs and existing business owners. And our job is to help your business become stronger, empower you to do the things that you've been putting off for years, okay? Some of those things may or may not be tax issues, okay? Everybody look straight, don't look at me, nobody know I'm talking to you. Just look straight, don't even look at me, all right? You might be losing some issues regarding legal stuff, okay? Maybe you haven't looked at legal paperwork in a while, right? Maybe you decided that, well, I don't really need insurance for my business, I'll just run it, it's okay, I'm running from my home, not a big deal. There have been a series of small little things that you've been putting off, okay? And then when it comes to financing, most of us, especially in this demographic, we are very fearful. Let me put it like that. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you guys a little story about how I met Eric, if it's okay. When I met Eric last month, it's only been less than 30 days, really. We were talking in our session. I was running a session in Atlanta, and we were talking about how entrepreneurs tend to have fear. Okay, we have fear, a lot of fear. Anybody with a lot of fear? A lot of fear. There's a lot of fear. You know, you got a lot on the line. You got mortgages, you got bills, you got utilities, you got your children. There's a lot on the line, and you don't want to fail. But some of us are afraid to succeed if we're honest with ourselves, right? Well, we were talking about this situation where a survey was done, Department of Commerce, and in the survey it said that white business owners were afraid of financing their businesses at a clip of 33%. 33, meaning they would be fearful to get a small business loan to help their business do what? Grow. Okay? But only 33% of the population were fearful. Okay? Now, when you start looking at African American and other minority groups, that number exploded. We were fearful more so than the white majority. Why do you think that is? Well, as we were talking and having this conversation, Eric, in an act of courage, he was in the back of the room. He said, Jahi, time out. You're talking to me. I said, Eric, you got the floor. You want to say something? Say it. So what he said was, and I can give you the floor again. Okay. What he said was, he said, Jahi, I applied for SBA financing. And correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a little while. He said, I applied for SBA financing for my business in y'all ready for this? 19. So y'all know it was a little while ago. 1981. Okay, somebody do the math real quick. That's a long time ago, right? 1981 is the last time he said, I'm going to go down the road financing my business. What that told me and the rest of the audience was, here is a man that may have a great idea on paper, that may have all the courage in the world to get his business off the ground. He may even have a team of people behind him to do this thing. But if he doesn't have the money and the capital to make this business grow, what's going to happen? Because if you're not growing as an entrepreneur, you're what? You're dying. Okay? So for all these years, folks like Eric have been sitting on the sideline waiting for something to drop in their laps to say, hey, it's time to go. It's time to move. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fact that as entrepreneurs, you have to overcome this fear of growing and succeeding as a business owner. And it's very important that you tie the success to the money. Because if you don't have money, you don't have a business. I'll say that again, but I'll say it in the terms that you may understand. You guys heard of Warren Buffett, right? The second richest man in the world, right? $60 billion or something like that. Here are the top 10 things he suggests to all entrepreneurs. Y'all ready for this? The top 10. Non-profit, for-profit, you should get this. Number 1, never run out of money. All right, I got it. Number 2, it's going to sound real familiar. Never run out of money. Did you get it back there? It was quick. Number 3, Portia, never run out of money. Olu, number 4, never run out of money. Number 5 through 10, never run out of money. Because when you run out of money, you go from having a business to running a what? A hobby. It's only a hobby, folks. It's only a hobby. As an entrepreneur, I've been running businesses since the age of 12. I'm almost 40 now. I have a business right now in Upper Marlboro. It's doing well. But before that, I was running an entrepreneurial training program for one of the largest nonprofits in the country. We were cranking out entrepreneurs every year, 75 to 100 every year, showing them how to write business plans. How many of you guys have business plans written? Not enough hands went up. Why is a business plan important? Number 1, if you need money to grow your business, you have to take the ideas out of your head and be able to share them with people that can advocate for you and give you money to produce that business. But let me tell you what a lot of entrepreneurs used to tell us. Jahi, I'm afraid to share my idea because somebody's going to steal it. You know what my response to that is? If God gave you that vision, there is nothing that no one can do with that idea other than you to make it successful. If God gave it to you. Now, if you stole it from somebody else, then we got another problem, right? But if God gave it to you, it's your idea. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. But a lot of us are fearful of the success. So we sabotage by not doing a business plan, don't we? Yeah, I don't want to share that with my family and friends. I don't want to do that. But you can't grow that business without money, but you can't get the money without the what? Business plan. We have to get it out of our heads and onto paper. Okay? So that's the number 1 thing. Don't be fearful. All right? Y'all get that? All right, number 2. I feel like I'm running out of time. Here. All right, number 2. Build a moat. Build a moat. You guys heard that before? No? A moat, back in medieval times, there was a castle, okay? Between the castle and the ground was a moat. In that moat, your enemies really had no clue of what was in it. It could be snakes, it could be a dragon, it could be all kinds of devastating threats. My point is that if you're a business owner, you have to put something between you and your business so that you lessen the competition. Instead of being fearful of it, you're actually creating a structure in front of it to protect you from naysayers, from people that want to duplicate your idea, to people that maybe want to replicate it and steal it. So you build a moat. How many of you have built a moat for your business? Let me help you guys. A moat, what's a moat? It's some protection. How many of you guys are registered as LLCs by show of hands? That's one moat, that's one way, okay? Another way is certification. How many of you guys are certified as a business owner by show of hands? Okay, you got two, all right? Because if my business has certifications and yours don't, that means what? I can go after opportunities that you can't do what? You can't touch. I'm building a moat here. So it doesn't matter that I share confidential ideas with you and help you move forward and help your business grow, because I've done what? I've built a proper moat. So I don't have to be afraid of who's coming behind me. Does that make sense? Because there are a lot of business owners, they don't want to share ideas. They're keeping it all close to the vest, right? Well, I had an entrepreneur. When I started my company at 12 years old, I went to a local entrepreneur asking for support, asking for advice, asking for any input. You know what he told me? He said no. And I was 11 years old when I went to him. He said no, because I don't want competition. And I understood that. But as an immature young man, I took that as a personal gesture that you now want me to take you out. That's how I took it. I took that as a threat. Because if you're not going to help me, I'm going to put you out of business. That's how I looked at it. None of you guys are immature like that. But that's how I was at 11 years old. Now, when you go to business school, that's how they teach you to be. But I don't work with clients like that. I don't want you to be like that. I just want you to be more of a mentor and help other people. So building a moat is helping your business be protected so you can grow it without fear. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's number two. Now number three is something I think is very important, because it gets to the heart of what financial advisors do. And my company right now, we're financial advisors. We help folks with their finances. We look at everything from A to Z. But it's hard to get past some of the things, the treacherous things that some negative players have done, like Bernie Madoff or some of those other financial folks in the world. And for African American investors in real estate, corporate folks, you guys have a hard time trusting. Yes? Right? So what I would suggest you do to make sure your business is going down the right path, number three, is trust but verify. Okay? Trust but verify. And I have an example that I used at our last session. There's a Major League Baseball player named, actually I won't even tell you his name. I won't tell you his name. But what he did was, he signed an agreement called a POA. Anybody heard of that before? It's a power of attorney, all right? He signed over his financial rights to a financial advisor that he met at some other organization. He just casually met them. It wasn't a professional relationship. It was kind of like a side thing that turned into a you take care of my money thing. And what happened was he signed over his power. Well, about a few years later, he started getting mail from the IRS. IRS said there are taxes that haven't been paid. And he said, no, I did that. Did you talk to my financial advisor? That's been done. They said, no. You owe us $2.77 million in taxes. That's what you owe us. So he said, no, I'm gonna fight that. Let's go to court. I want you guys to prove it. So he went to court, and the IRS ruled not in his favor. They basically said to him that because you signed the POA doesn't give you the ability to not be responsible for your tax burden. Essentially, you stupid. Like that. Yeah, you stupid. Okay? But he could have prevented that. See, you got to trust but verify when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your legal documents, et cetera, et cetera. And in our session, we covered 10 of these things. Tonight, I'm only covering 3 because they only gave me like 15 minutes. But here's what I want to leave you guys with. Each one of you guys have an opportunity of taking your business to a level where none of us could imagine. Children, grandchildren, children's children, great-grandchildren, they could succeed you in running this business, like the mentors that I had and that I had. One of my mentors just yesterday called me and said, hey, can I talk to you? I said, sure. As soon as I answered the phone, he said, I've just been diagnosed with cancer. This is an entrepreneur who's made millions of dollars, who's done very well, but now realizes his mortality is in question. And he's rethinking everything. And this was just 24 hours ago. I want to encourage you guys, don't wait for that. Don't wait for a diagnosis. Don't wait for something bad to happen to your business. Don't wait for the IRS to call. Do some things now to encourage yourself to take this business to the next level. If you need help, call my RBB. All right? So that's my time. I thank you. I'll leave some cards. I look forward to talking with each and every one of you guys. All right? Good luck.
Okay, y'all forgive me, my finger hurt. So I'm not walking well today. But our next speaker is Rhea Clark. Yes, from Howard University.
Howard University.
Howard University.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to speak with you all today. And with my session, I have big shoes to fill, but he actually opened the door for me to talk about everything that I want to share. So for starters, I am Bria Clark. I am a senior finance major at Howard University, and I'm from Illinois by way of Georgia. And I came to Howard and I was like, okay, I'm gonna expand and I'm gonna be amazing and I'm gonna take every opportunity I can to be a businesswoman. Since I was a little girl, I always seen myself, I always thought I was all of that, trying to carry this, and I wanted to be a businesswoman, I wanted to be in charge, and I had something to say. So I pursued that when I got to college. So that started with Brownie and Gamrat Law Firm in Lawrenceville, Georgia. That followed up with American Family Insurance in Westerville, Ohio, Northwestern Mutual Insurance in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and led me to Washington, D.C. with the Department of Homeland Security just this past year. And now these are great opportunities for an individual like myself. I took them in stride and I worked, but as I was in these positions, I did not see where my individuality came out. The ideas that I had to bring and the impact that I thought I would make, it was more so focused on developing me as a professional and molding me to represent the company. But I needed that wasn't enough for me. I needed something more than that. So I took away my fear, but I also was smart because I knew I was in college. I had a safety net. So a year ago, I started B. Clark & Associates, which is a consulting firm, and I help small business owners and entrepreneurs develop their organizations from point A to point B. Something simple. Business owners need a business plan. I've been writing business plans since I stepped into the business school at my university. They need marketing, they need finance, you need logistics, you need operations. How are you gonna get from point A to point B. You have an excellent idea, but how do you take that idea and turn it into a practice? That's what I specialize in. And in doing that, I quit my job at the Department of Homeland Security. So everybody was looking at me crazy, like, did you leave that government job in DC? And you're still in school to start a consulting firm? And you're still young. How old are you? My money's older than you. This is the conversation that I get. But I wipe that away. And I hit the pavement to find clients because I'm trying to pursue my happiness and my success, which led me to Eric. I'm in the Small Business Development Center, SBDC. They are great with entrepreneurs. And as I'm in there getting support from our organization, I run into a little flyer because I'm always on the lookout. We are in an information sharing age, and I'm always have my eyes open to see. I see the advertisement that they need somebody to come on board and help expand. He wants to go to a new level. I said, this is perfect. I got my client. So I go, I have my interview, and I'm sitting across from Eric, and I'm trying to express myself and tell him everything that I have to offer. And he looks at me and says, well, you need to show me. You're talking good game, but I'm from Missouri. That's to show me, say, what can you do? And it's been a year now since we've been working together, and I have had a lot of autonomy with Eric to really learn so much about being a business owner and really beginning relationships and working with so many different types of businesses and so many different types of people, which leads me to the conversation that I really want to get into now. Most of the value that I add to my RBB comes on the RBB community. Now, if you're familiar with the website that Eric runs, you'll see that there's a section available for business owners to communicate. It's an open forum where people can leave videos, comments, messages, interact, and that's really where I add the most value to this organization at this point. And with that, I want to really get a conversation going to figure out what exactly are business owners looking for? What do you want to talk about? There are a couple topics that I have in my phone. I'm a millennial. I use my phone all the time. It's in my hand. And I want to basically get that conversation going today. Because this session is not just about me. It's about us. I want to engage my network. And I want to engage you all. So as I ask these questions, please feel free to answer. So 1, do y'all get emails, text messages, phones in my hands? And that turns into, I have access to everything. I have the ability to build my brand, I can show my brand off, and I can pretty much have whatever I want to, I can put it in the world, and everybody has open door access to it. But is that a positive thing or a negative thing for you? How are you utilizing the social media platforms and the internet and the telecommunications? How are you using that to grow your brand? And has it been beneficial for you or has it hurt you? Great.
I think taking advantage of technology, if you will, is a great way to grow your business. But the real issue that comes to play as you're defining yourself and branding, you have to I think you have to make sure that whatever your brand is, it really is the brand that you want to be perceived as. And to be clear about that, I guess part of what will help that is actually having a business plan so that once you put that perception out there, you have a roadmap to kind of follow, continue to help develop that. And with social media now, it's real easy to continue to perpetuate whatever you want to become or whatever you think you are as you become what you think you are.
Okay. I'll follow up with that comment. I actually can relate to that because I'm at the point where I've been doing a lot of sharing. This is what I've been doing, but at this point, I'm very young and my business is very young. And I have a plan, but as I've started to work, that plan has changed. And my goals, they have shifted. And I'm at the point now where I started out with, I'm gonna do financial consulting. I'm gonna help people go from here. I love finance, that's my passion. But when I go to put videos online, I see that when I upload my video to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and other community There are 15,000 videos just like mine. I put an introduction to financial markets. I'm gonna talk to you, I'm gonna share to you what a financial market is. And when I uploaded it, there were 15,000 other videos on the exact same thing. Now I am unique. I can articulate it, and nobody's gonna do it like I do. But at that point, there's no scarcity. There's no real supply and demand for my video. So am I really winning with that? I could pass. I'd rather reach my audience a different way. So I put that on hold. But that's another concept that I want to bring to the forefront. Scarcity, the uniqueness. What is it about your business that's so different from everybody else's? How are we leveraging that concept of, I have something that you want, now come pay for it. This is why, here's the value added. You're losing by not getting down with what I have to offer. How do you utilize that when showing the true value added of your business? Can anybody relate? Quentin, I'm gonna call on you. Quentin, you are an amazing sales manager. You can sell, you get people, you close, that's what you do. How are you closing? How do you say, this is what I sell? How do you get that person to say, there are plenty of lots? What makes them buy it from you?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to sell anything I don't believe in. So when I'm sitting across the table from you, dialoguing, you see my passion, you're looking in my eyes, you understand that I'm for real about this thing. Granted, there's guys out there that can sell snow to an Eskimo. That's not my game. My game is I'm not going to invest myself in a project or a product that I don't believe in. So when I'm passionate about it, that transfers. Short answer.
Definitely relate to that. I appreciate your input. I do. Anybody else who likes to comment? Okay. There's another concept I want to bring to the forefront. It's called a consensus. It's like the bandwagon effect. Okay. Like for example with Facebook. How many people here have a Facebook account? Here's how I felt about
I know
Facebook.
you use it, but I got it.
So Facebook is great. Facebook allows you to connect over the internet. You know, you're able to expand your network. You're able to share what's going on with your life with a lot of different people. That's what Facebook does. And there are some people that are with it. Some people are against it hardcore because the downfall of social media is you can't take it back and it's out there for the world to see. And when you're coming into yourself or when you're going through something, sometimes you put it out there and you can't retrieve it. And that's a big gamble that a lot of people aren't necessarily ready to take. Another conversation though. So with the consensus effect, a lot of my friends have Facebook accounts and I didn't. In my household, they were very strict. They were like, you need to do this, you don't need to be online doing that. So I didn't create my Facebook account until my freshman year in college. But what I noticed was that everybody around me, all my friends, they were on MySpace. They were on Facebook. They were on LinkedIn. And I'm like, I feel left out. So it's not that I had the passion to get online because that's just not what I did on a regular basis. I was calling people still, talking on the face, let's meet up, I want to go out. That's what I was doing. But everyone else around me had it, and I felt like I'm missing out. I really need to get on board with Facebook. And now I use it. It's my platform. I've made it. I share my experiences with those people. But the consensus effect is real. And sometimes it may not be the actual product or the actual service that you need so much, but without it, you're out the loop. You're on an island and you're isolated. All my friends are like this, their phones, and I'm not. So those are some of the concepts that I would really like to hear what you all think about it. How do you feel about that? Corinne, what do you think about that?
As far as using Facebook,
Yes.
it has helped as far as my business. Recently, I have even considered pulling away from Facebook. The reason is because of the material that I see on Facebook itself. Now, Facebook also gives you the option to create what's called a business website. You can do that. Hopefully, you're attracting more professionals. For me, LinkedIn is more professional. It's their business owners that are on there. So Facebook is definitely an avenue. To me, as far as business, it's a numbers game. So as long as you remain professional, keep your stuff out there, you never know when your next customer is going to come as far as on Facebook or who needs your services. But as for you have to make sure what you're also putting out there is good material and something that's going to catch someone's as far as attention. But I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but it's also another resource. And as we're out here networking and growing our businesses, you can't really cross a section off because you have to look at the segment of the population that is using Facebook. So it's always another way to grow your business. But my personal opinion, I'm not happy with Facebook. But I stay on there.
What about you, Greg? I see your hand.
I've been struggling with just that issue
Yeah.
because with Facebook, it's become a means of social media for socialization. Whereas with LinkedIn, it's really and almost purely designed for business purpose. And there's always that constant struggle with folks that are on LinkedIn to try and make it remain pure and to be just that. And it always unnerves me when I see someone starting to have a conversation like, I saw you at the store or at the beach or whatever on LinkedIn. It's like, ugh. It just distorts what LinkedIn is really designed. Just like with Twitter. Twitter's getting a very hot run right now. But again, I see that as more of a socialization tool, not really a business tool, although every business has their own Twitter account and all this other stuff. And I guess that's just to show, just as was said earlier, that you still got your foot in the pond. But that's only to address certain groups that are still in that venue, if you will, as far as communication is concerned. Like some people still write letters, and they don't use email. So you kind of have to have a way to be able to keep in touch with your market, wherever that market might be. But it's still a challenge.
I appreciate that. But before I leave, I do want to encourage everybody to use the RBB community, and here's why. It's a platform that you have the opportunity to use. It allows you to leverage your time. I'm on the phone, type that in, and I can go. I don't have to necessarily be present all the time. There's an element of the value added. In addition to my listing, for those of you who are interested in getting a listing with Eric, in addition to that, you have the ability to communicate with people and get that feedback. If business owners and customers are using the RBB community, then what do you have? You have open communication. You have the ability to ask a question and get a direct response. That's direct feedback. I learned about a feedback loop, which is so important to understand exactly what's going on and get constant verification. You get new ideas, new questions. You see, what are people talking about? What are they interested in? So I know that everyone has their way, and I'm not trying to sway anyone. But I definitely think that if you haven't been utilizing some of those social media platforms, that if you sit down and you decide what you want to accomplish with it, it would be excellent to see you implement that. And with RBB community, if you haven't used it, I think this would be a good place for you to start, because Facebook is very big, LinkedIn is very big, and so is Twitter. However, you have a smaller community, the community that's in this room, where you have people that are going to engage you. And if I see you on there, you'll definitely hear from me. So that's my time. But before I leave, I'm going to introduce the next speaker personally. Personally, I'm going to do that, and here's why. Mr. Rodney Jones is my mentor, and he's been my mentor since my freshman year. I had that businesswoman hat on and a big book bag. I was walking into Blackburn Center one day, and he's in there presenting with valid professionals, other representatives, and he's handling business. But I'm in there, eyes wide open. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I study finance. I just want to know. Can I get to know? Let me introduce myself. I have my Howard intro down. I was ready. And he said, I see something in you. Let me coach you. Let me help you develop your own personal brand from point A to point B. Let me show you how to think like a winner. Let me show you outside of the actual schooling how to navigate the waters of professionalism. When I'm out of state at those internships, It was him that I called when I was dealing with corporate passive aggressiveness at 19, at 20. I'm not deal with that, but my mentor did, you know, and even now, as I have, you know, I've grown into my position. I'm about to graduate. It's well deserved. Not to pat myself on the back when I'm being honest. I work hard for that degree. And with that has come positions of leadership. And I currently stand as the president of Golden Key International Honor Society. And that's a claim to the growth that has took place with me. But with that being said, there was someone that helped me get there, and that's Mr. Jones. So as I took over my presidency, of course we had honorary members. And who would I not honor but my mentor? So on behalf of Golden Key International Honor Society and one of my first clients, Mr. Eric Nelson, I want you all to please clap it up for Rodney Jones.
Good evening, everyone. How are y'all doing? I won't be long. I know I'm in the right room this evening. The first thing you gotta know your audience. It feels good to be here. It's felt great to have the opportunity to actually speak to each and every one of you. And I'm an advocate of entrepreneurship. I ran my own business for several years. Now I'm operating in a very high income W-2 status, which I don't mind. It's beneficial to me. I don't like the taxes, but I want to share one thing with you all. We have one common entity that we must embrace to be successful, and that is the ability to think. I find that through life, the one thing that God gives you control over and separates human beings from animals, which is free will and reasoning, we let it go. So if you're going to be successful, at some point in your life, you're going to have to say to myself, you know what? I'm going to have to work on how I think. Because how you think determines your outcome in life. It determines how people feel about you. It gives you that extra swag that makes you different than the next counterpart beside you to your left and right. It identifies who you are as an individual. You will go through things in life, and besides your faith, your thinking is the one thing that's going to help you navigate through everything. You can have a great business plan. You can work very hard, but if your thinking is stinking, guess what? You won't win. I got a saying in my life that I use: if my thinking is stinking, my cash is shrinking. Y'all like that one? You don't make a lot of money if your thinking is wrong. And I know, and I'm going to empower you all from a very positive standpoint. So let me go ahead and begin my presentation. Again, my name is Rodney Jones. I operate in the financial services world. I'm a financial planning advisor with Valid, a subsidiary of AIG. I've been in the industry 17 years. Don't know how I got here. I was looking for an opportunity, just like each and every one of you all. My background was U.S. Air Force meteorologist with a degree in computer, and I ended up being a financial planning advisor. So it doesn't matter. But what I'm going to teach you and talk about tonight is thinking. Think like a winner. Everybody has that one good book in their life that brought about change, other than the Bible. Would y'all agree that, did any of you all read a book that just resonated and said, you know what, this is it? Yeah. This is my book. This is my book. When I was struggling as an African-American and a VP, young entrepreneur at Primerica Financial Services, I was around a lot of success. And I knew that I had to create my own. And until I read this book and understood the process of winning and thinking, it changed my life totally. So the thing that I want to share with you is think like a winner. So one of the key things I'm going to put emphasis on is think, not act. Think, not act. We can all act like winners, can't we?
Yes.
But everybody can't think like a winner unless you're properly trained and someone has shared with you how you need to be successful and control your thinking, and understanding that the way you think determines your total outcome and what you do in your life. Thoughts are things, and you got to control them. Now think about how simple that is. Thoughts are things, and you have to control them. Thoughts are things, and you have to control them. Meaning that everything that you've ever done, everything that you will ever become, begin with what? A thought, a mere thought. So if that's the case, and that fact is true, shouldn't we spend a lot of time to control how we think? It's very important, you know, because there's only two ways that you can think in life. You can either be positive, or you can even be negative. So the question I have for each and every one of you are, you can answer this question internally. Am I positive or am I negative? Because I'll give you a couple of examples and it'll help you choose. If you're at work and all the negative whining people are constantly coming up to you telling their woe is me stories, guess what? You're probably negative like them. Because a lot of people that are negative don't think that they're negative. And I'm not saying this to shun anyone. I just want to bring the light of the importance of, so you can realize where you at in your life. Because if all the negative people are gravitating towards you, it probably means you're negative. If all of the negative people are running away from you, it probably means you're positive. You ever been around that person in your life that all they do is bring you doom and gloom? And when they leave the room, how do you feel? Tired, like they just suck all the energy out of you, right? And the only reason that they're doing that is that you project something in your thinking that they feel comfortable, and you allow them to come to you with all of that. Because now, if you take the reciprocal of it, when you're positive, don't you know that when you have a positive person in your life, the last thing you're going to go run up and tell somebody that's positive is something negative? You won't do it. It just does not happen. See, the reason why it's that way, it is easy and it's it's a strong sign of laziness to be negative. Because being positive requires a lot of work. It requires effort. It requires training. It requires you to constantly be aware of it all the time. But being negative is real. All you got to do is get up and turn on the news. You're fine. Trust me. You'll be negative for the remainder of the day in many cases. So I say that because I want you all to understand you got to identify where you at in your life. I thought I was positive until I started reading books about what being positive meant. I didn't know. Many of us don't know. And right now I can share a very interesting statistic with you all that the belief level that you hold in your life right now was formed at age 14. Since you've been 14 years old, you've been believing the same old thing over and over again. You want to know why? We haven't been trained to think in many cases. Think about that. You're operating a business with a belief level of a 14-year-old. Absolutely amazing. And only way you can grow your belief level is to change your thinking. So I say this with all due respect and sincerity, but it's very, very serious. If you're going to win and win big, you got to take a period, a chunk out of your life and say, you know what? This is my defining moment. I'm going to work on me. I'm going to work on how I think, and I'm going to be the most positive person I can possibly be. It's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain, and you will affect so many people's lives by being the individual that's positive in the room. That separates the winners from the losers. You can have two successful business people, individual, male, female, doesn't matter. But the one that thinks right will always attract the better clients, will always beat you, will always earn more money, will always have more freedom because they have a basic concept that they understand that you got to think your way through life. Now, you have to act, but there's no need to go out there and act if your thinking is wrong, because usually your actions won't take you where you need to go long term. So I'm going to read one quick quote. I'm not a millennium, I'm a 70s baby, Bria. And it comes from a very positive individual, and I've read a lot of his books. It says, remember, happiness does not depend on who you are or what you have. It depends solely on what you think. Dale Carnegie. Not what you have, not what you've done, but how you think. Very, very important. Now, one of the things I like to share with you, since we're talking about being positive and controlling your thinking, what do you think the two things that you have and you possess in your life that you have 100% control over and nobody can take it away from you? And this is an open forum, anyone can share. Your thoughts. Almost there.
So your faith.
Your faith. Right there. Any other takers?
Your tongue.
Your what?
Your tongue.
Your tongue. Okay.
Your attitude.
My man. That's part A. I'm looking for part B, entrepreneurs. It's the only thing we as entrepreneurs control. Your activity. You can only control your attitude and your activity. Attitude represents how you respond to things when things happen, because they will go wrong. Would you agree? How many of y'all play sports? Many of us. And at any competitive level, and you were coached. What's the quickest thing to get you kicked off that football team? I'll never forget the coach will run up to you. I don't care if you're the prima donna, you can catch 100 passes, but if you got a bad attitude, you're out of here. Because they ruin any team, they ruin business, they ruin your mindset, it just dominates your spirit and it takes over you. So you have to control your attitude. And I mean control it. So when the stuff hits the fan, how you gonna feel? Are you gonna get excited? I thought that I was extremely positive. This is when I knew that I had it. When 2008, I had shut down my company when the economy went down. I got laying in the bed, I got a job for a very higher education, got a call from a higher education institution. Let me just say, Howard, where Bria works at. They were looking for some other financial advisors, and AIG called me. So I took the job in September. On 9/15/2008, the big debacle and financial ruin globally occurred. Y'all remember that day? I'm getting dressed, tired, get in the mirror, happy. My wife like, baby, yeah, you got something new going on. I'm ready, I'm all excited. And then she says, look, you need to come here a minute. I said, what? She said, look on the TV, your company you're to start with is in big letters. Y'all about to go under. First words out of my mouth, I don't worry about it, babe. I'm going to be positive. That's just the news. I control my thinking. I still got to go do what I have to do. That's when you know you're positive. Despite what the news, despite what everyone's sharing you, no matter how dim the situation looks like, you have to take the approach and take the high road and always be optimistic, because you attract the clients, you attract the people in your life with that positive energy. So then I go to work. Could you imagine? AIG, I'm managing hundreds of millions of dollars in this institution's 403B, and I walk in the door and get them! There's the AIG guy. They're stealing my money. You're getting the bailout, the bonuses. I mean, it was total. It was an anarchy that day. And I stood there with my pride and my beliefs, and I said, you know what? They can be negative, but guess what I have to do? I have to control my attitude. Because if I don't control that, then I can become a reflection of them. And that's when you lose every time. Attitude is everything. Now, activity. The numbers, you can't beat the numbers can't beat you. You have to run the numbers. Do y'all want me to repeat that again? You can't beat the numbers can't beat you. All you can do is run the do it with 3 appointments, because I'm good. Won't work. Won't work. You'll have 3 good appointments that day, but what about the rest of the year? See, all you can control is your activity. You got to get out there and work it. Accept the no's, embrace the no's, learn from the no's, because you're not going to get the yeses until you get the no's. It just doesn't work that way. So if you maintain a positive attitude, thinking like a winner, in addition, you run the numbers, creating the activity necessary for you to be successful, that will help you win more. And the key to activity is knowing what you have to do. I see so many people work 12 hours a day of nothingness. How could you? I mean, that's crazy. Well, I've been gone 12 hours. Did you close? Did anything happen? Did you implement any solutions? You got to do the most productive thing at any given point in your business day. You pay people to do the things that don't grow your business, and you always do the things that grow your business. Don't leave that up to chance. And the first thing that grows your business is what? How you think. That separates you from many other people. I'm gonna go ahead and wind this down. So I would like to leave you all with a very important thing. If you're embracing what I'm saying, develop a game plan for self-improvement. When I talk to business people, they got a game plan for the numbers. They got a game plan for their finances. They got a game plan for church. They got a game plan on how they're going to lose weight. They got a game plan on where they're traveling to. But nobody has a specific game plan to say, this is how I'm going to become who I want to be and who God intended me to be. You can ask 10 people tomorrow, hey, what's your game plan to grow your thinking? I don't know. It's just a part of our society that we don't embrace as minorities. I mean, when I go out and I tell people I read books, here come Rodney Jones again with another book. You big dummy, read. Read. But yet we shun these things as a whole. But this is what separates you and make you a winner, is the ability to think. So when you're developing a self-improvement game plan, one is what you're going to read. Put down anything that doesn't help you grow your mind for a short period of time. I highly advise you to do that. If it ain't growing your mind and growing your business, why deal with it? For what? Number two, setting goals. Most people don't know how to set goals. A very interesting book on how to think and grow rich teaches you the 5 to 6 steps on specifically how to set goals. Very, very important. You know, I listen to people who don't know, and it usually goes like this. Well, I think I want to do this year. I mean, how does that sound for starters? Well, I think I want to do this year. A person that set goals will tell you, I am earning $250,000. I am earning $1 million this year, December the 31st, 2014. Very specific and very measurable. So get yourself involved in learning how to goal set. Number 3, turn off the TV. What do you need it for? Did you ever make any money watching television? What on TV helped you grow your business unless you had a self-development plan and you put in a self-improvement DVD or you put in something to help you with your training on your business. But 9 times out of 10, the television, man, turn it off. And if you have to look at the news, don't look at the first 5 minutes because it's all doom and gloom. Really no need, and if it's really, really bad, trust me, your negative friends will tell you at work or out on the streets, so you'll be well informed. And number 4, define your sacrifices. See, whatever I embark on, any venture or anything that I want to do in my life, I always think about what I need to give up first as opposed to what I'm going to gain. What am I willing to give up to win this prize? And it's just that simple. Are you going to give up sleep? Are you going to give up socialization? Are you going to give up golf? Are you going to give up personal time? What are you going to do to separate yourself? But in order to grow, you have to give something up. You have to. And you know, you got to form new habits. And a lot of times when you're forming a new habit, you got to understand that when you're forming new habits, you can only replace habits. It takes 21 days. So if you want to stop smoking, you need to do something else for 21 days that make you forget about smoking. You just can't say, I'm just going to stop smoking. It won't work. You got to replace it. It takes 21 days. And last but not least, step number 5 in your self-improvement plan, keep an open mind. Your mind only works when it's open. It's like a parachute. What you all are doing tonight, sharing ideas, it's been a while since I've been in a meeting like this. And I'm excited because there's nothing more beautiful to have an open mind and listen to people that are equally yoked and have like-mindedness and we want to go in a similar direction. But you got to keep that mind open, and you got to keep it open to the right, positive thinking people in your life. And as I wrap up with you today, the last thing that I will leave you with when it comes to thinking is growing your belief. If we could just believe a little bit longer and a little bit more, and we embrace our belief, and we take that belief and we cast it in a vision where people can see themselves being a part of that, you're going to win every time. And one of my books that I read by Dr. I.B. Hilliard, I forget the title, he talked about 4 things that help you grow your belief. One is your environment. Isn't that something? Where you spend your time, who you spend your time with, is the single most important thing that will offer you a high belief. It just simply does. I'll give you my story. I grew up in Central Virginia most of my life. My mom is from Hopewell, my dad's from Petersburg. Until my father went in the military, and then he said, look, come up here, and they separated. You can come stay with me. When I moved to Washington, D.C., it totally changed my life. Because where I'm from, you don't see African Americans with degrees. You don't see African Americans with huge houses. You don't see African Americans driving S500s. Not that those things really matter, but it offers me a sense of hope as a young man. So putting yourself in an environment, you know, I think that's extremely important. If you want the big house, drive across the bridge to Potomac. It's plenty of them to see, right? Put yourself in an environment so that you can begin to grow your belief level. Number 2, your upline role model in your life, your mentor. You can't win without one. Your thinking that you have and you possess got you right where you are right now. If you want to grow, you need to change the thinking and employ people who already have the thinking that you want. That mentorship, you know, people ask me who I am and I tell them, this is Rodney Jones. I'm a sum total of all my thoughts and a collaboration of people who invested time and energy in me. That's just who I am. Number 3, write books, write tapes, write videos. I'm telling you, you have to spend at least 1 hour a day on self-improvement. Now I know where I'm gonna find the time at. You'll be surprised what you can do when you're in the shower. I stay in there, but I like hot water, so I stay about 15 minutes. Do you know how many positive things can go through your mind in the shower? What do you all normally do in the shower? that's bad. I don't mean it like that. But do you just take a shower? Do you have the TV on, the music on? Y'all a trip. I put on self-improvement lessons, tutorials. I listen to something positive to start my day. And then I recite my affirmations while I'm in the shower every day.